everyone, thank you for watching again. This is the third episode of Back to Earth, a healthy guide to natural eating and living. So I would like to do my third recipe today, which are my cinnamon nutmeg mini muffins. And these are the healthiest recipe I've done so far. I actually have at least one of these every day, and they're absolutely delicious. You're going to love these. These are the best muffins ever. And you're going to need 13 ingredients for this recipe, and of course our trusty mixing bowl, good for everything. You'll need some measuring cups, liquid measuring cups, some dry measuring cups like this one, measuring spoons of course, and our ingredients. So let's get organized first and get our ingredients together. We need 1 cup of whole wheat, white, unbleached all-purpose flour. And I've explained the benefits of this. It is much less refined than the bleached, super refined white flour that you usually have to deal with. And 1/2 cup of pure whole grain whole wheat flour. Nice brown whole grain wheat. And 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Of course, cinnamon muffins. And this recipe, it's particularly important to start with your dry ingredients, get them mixed together, and then use a separate container to mix your liquid ingredients and get those incorporated before you add all the ingredients together. And you also have 1/2 cup of pure organic not brown sugar, but pure organic raw sugar, which is naturally brown. The brown sugar you get in the store that you usually put in cookie recipes, classic cookie recipes, is the brown is added to it afterwards. You need 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and you'll need one teaspoon and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. There we go. And this recipe, this ingredient sets this recipe off. This is 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Nutmeg, oh, it gives it that wonderful, delectable bakery flavor. It's just, and nutmeg is really good for you too. So, oh, and salt. You need 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. Any kind of salt will do. I typically use sea salt, but iodized salt is fine. And those are your dry ingredients. And you sift those together. Once you get the ingredients together, this is actually a really quick recipe. It doesn't take any time at all. So once you get all the dry ingredients put together, and I put the sugar in there too, you get your liquid measuring cup, which already has 1/2 of a cup of almond milk in it, and any plant-based milk will do. So if you prefer coconut milk, soy milk, rice milk, cashew milk, hemp milk, any kind will do, anything that you prefer. And to the almond milk, you will add the vanilla extract. And that's 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1/2 of a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Add that. So those 3 things. And just mix those together. And then you can add the liquid ingredients to the dry ingredients. And get those mixed in together. And it doesn't have to be completely mixed, just a little bit. And then 3 to 4 tablespoons of vegan butter spread, which is any kind of margarine or buttery spread. It's not actually margarine because there's no hydrogenated oils in there, and it's made from vegetable oils. So I prefer best Nature's Balance. Earth Balance. And our very last ingredient is always the last ingredient. It just turns out better that way. is your applesauce. 1/4 of a cup of unsweetened organic applesauce will make up for 1 egg in any recipe that you do. So any recipe that you'd like to veganize and that calls for an egg, for each egg, just replace with 1/4 of a cup of applesauce, and it will not taste appley. There will be no applesauce taste to your recipe, I promise. I would hate that. You can also substitute with a small banana, but I've never used that technique. And just mix it up completely until it's thick but smooth and even. Alright, when you're done with your batter, it should be nice and thick. And if you want mini muffins like this recipe calls for, you get your mini muffin tray and you can fill it with the baking cups, or you can grease the inside. If you don't have baking cups, you can use a little bit of the butter and rub it on the inside to make it non-stick. And I use a regular teaspoon and just I get it on the fork like that. And just use your finger and drop it in there. Just about half full on the spoon. You don't want to fill the cups. You filled up the cups about 2/3 full, maybe a little bit less than that, that's fine. And you have enough batter left over for about half a tray's worth more of muffins. And you put your oven on to 375 degrees and stick them in. And one of the reasons that I like to do the mini muffins is because they take less time. They only take about 12-13 minutes, and keep your eye on them. As soon as they feel firm to the touch on top, they're done, and just take them out and let them sit. You don't want to get them too done, otherwise they'll be less soft and delectable. Now if you want to do your cinnamon muffins exactly like mine, the way I love them, then this is a very quick little topping that you can do for when they come out. Use a little bit of agave nectar. You get a small bowl and just squeeze about a tablespoon in there, maybe a little more. This is not a science, not this particular part. And a little dab of your vegan margarine and stick that in there. And what I do is I just stick the bowl on the stove and I let it heat up and melt. And you take a paintbrush, a clean one, preferably completely unused, and just a regular brush. If you have a kitchen brush, that's fine, you can use that obviously, but I don't have one, so I just use one of my clean unused paintbrushes, and I'll paint the top of the muffins with it and sprinkle the top with some more cinnamon, and that really sets these muffins off and makes them wonderful. Alright, it has been exactly 13 minutes since you first saw me put these muffins in the oven. And they are perfect. So 13 minutes for mini muffins. And I say that because if you're going to do full-size muffins, you're going to probably need to adjust the baking time. It's probably going to take closer to 20 minutes for full-sized muffins to bake. But for mini muffins, they bake much faster. And you can immediately put the glaze on top. Just take your bowl, careful, it's probably hot, and make sure that your bowl can withstand heat. These are good bowls. They can withstand the heat of the oven. And so this is just a little bit of vegan butter and agave nectar. and a clean paintbrush. And I'm going to paint the tops of each muffin. And there you go. You have beautiful, delicious, healthy, low-fat, almost fat-free, vegan cinnamon nutmeg muffins. And they are good to eat almost immediately. You don't have to wait for them to cool. You can have a nice warm muffin. Very moist. Very moist. And you can use, I say 3 to 4 tablespoons of vegan butter, and you can use less. The more you use, the gooier and softer your muffin will be. I find that about 3 tablespoons is perfectly fine. Wonderful. And cinnamon and nutmeg and the applesauce are all really good for you. So I hope you get to try this, and let me know how it turns out in the comments below, and join me again for my next recipe and healthy tips for living and eating, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.